Hi everyone, this is Tony here from digitalradiomarketing.com. In this video, or a podcast, if you are listening, we are going to talk about a Seo analysis for Big Cat Rescue. Big Cat Rescue is a nonprofit organization located in Tampa, Florida. And their mission is to care for cats and as well as provide education about the cats. And when I say cats, I also mean tigers. So if you take a look at the logo, actually there's a tiger jumping over Big Cat Rescue, big letters. And you can actually visit their facility to take a tour and take a look at their cat, their facility, how they take care of the cats. And you can also learn more about where these cats come from and what you can do to really help make these cats have a better life. Now let's move on to talk about the kind of SEO analysis that we did. The first one is we took a look at the total pages on the site, and we did two methods for this analysis. One is to send a crawl by using a program called Screaming Frog. And what we did was we sent the crawl, the software, and we crawl from the homepage to see how many pages are on the site. The other method is to use Google search operator, and as you can see, we found a little bit more actually a lot more pages than the method that we used for Screaming Frog. So for Screaming Frog, roughly we found about 33,000 pages on the site, whereas when we use Google search operator, Google actually has found about 64,000 pages on the site. Now, this is pretty usual to have a larger index number by Google compared to when we use the crawl software. The reason being, Google can reach the site by crawling backlinks. So when other websites, they link back to Big Cat Rescue, and that's how Google can discover other pages. So the reason that we do this is to really see, okay, when we send a crawl into the site from homepage, are the sites linked? What are the site structure like? Because if the sites are not linked properly, then we will not be able to discover all the pages. And in this case, as you can see, the difference is quite substantial. There are almost 30,000 pages difference, which means it is possible that the site structure is not created in a way that a crawl, when reached to the homepage, can crawl the entire site. So we might want to think about and take a look a little bit more why this is happening. You know, it could be, it is possible that maybe some of the pages that the site owner intentionally doesn't want the crawl to find out about them, and Google somehow found out about them, and this is why there's a discrepancy. And maybe simply just the site structure is not good. That could be another reason. So we don't know until we carry out further analysis, but this quick analysis allows us to see whether there is those kind of problems that I just mentioned. Let's move on to the next part. So general site architecture overview. In this section, we took a look at the homepage, see if there's a 302 redirect, see how many external links are coming out from each page, and do each page have a unique URL, things like that. Then we take a look at navigation, because some sites, they use JavaScript for their navigation, and that's not ideal. And so ideally, each navigation should be text-based. Then we take a look at duplicate content, different kinds of duplicate contents. We take a look at if the site has a canonical tags on them to prevent duplicate contents. Then we take a look at how many different kinds of redirects the site has, if there's any 500 code errors, which means server errors. And then we take a look at how many 404 pages errors. And finally, we take a look at robots text, see if the site has a robots text to communicate with the search engine robots. So when we took a look at all these elements, there are a few things we wanted to point out. First is that we identified approximately 2,100 pages with links that are coming out from these pages are more than 100 links. And this is not ideal because it dilutes the link equity So if you want to create internal links, if you have 100 links from coming out from each of these pages, it really dilutes the link equity and it's not ideal. Now, another thing, what we found out is uppercase, lowercase URLs. This is a very, very bad potential duplicate content problem. And as you can see on the screenshot here, in this subfolder, Christmas has a character letter, uppercase letter for the C, whereas ideally they should keep it all lowercase. So that's something that we found out. And then we also found out 604 pages of 404 error pages. So this should be also fixed, ideally using 301 redirect to redirect them somewhere else if this page don't exist. Maybe people they may still be interested in finding these pages, and when they get to 404 pages, it's not really ideal user experience. Now moving on to some key SEO elements. So the key elements that we look at are on-page elements. And ideally, you should optimize these elements because this is the best practice. And of course, these elements send the strongest signal to Google saying what these pages are. So those elements that we look at, title tags and meta description, and then headline and subheadings. So titles, this is one of the strongest signal that you can send to Google to tell Google what this page is all about. And of course, when you have duplicate titles, Google will get confused. It will think, okay, why do you have multiple pages with the same title? That's not good. And also, you want the title to be less than 65 characters, or ideally a little bit shorter, even about 60 characters. Because when you have a long title, as you can see in the screenshot that we provided, it gets cut off. So from user perspective, they don't get the full picture. They'll be like, so what is this page about? If you don't put your keywords in the front and you somehow put them in at the end, they get cut off. Then users don't see that. That's not good, and Google doesn't like it. And so ideally, you should optimize these titles, make it shorter, make sure that you include the keywords that you're targeting, and also try to put the keywords at the front rather than at the end. Now let's talk about meta description. And what we found out is about 13,000 pages without any meta description. And meta description doesn't have any effect for ranking. So it's not one of the ranking factor. But when user comes to your site, you want them to be able to understand what those pages are. When people search on Google, they found your site, they see a page, and then it comes back with, for example, again, this screenshot here, some like posted date, and some non-relevant content description, then they will most likely not click on that result. So the purpose of meta description is to increase the click-through rate, to entice people to click on the result that they find. And again, here you want to really include the keyword and have an elaborate sort of description about the page. And obviously there's a limit to the number of characters that you can use for meta description. Ideally, it should be about 155, less than 160, but shorter the better, because Google keeps changing its algorithm, keeps changing the way it displays the results on Google. So ideally, you should keep it less than 150. That's the current recommendation. Now moving on to headlines and subheadlines, H1 and H2. And this has been shown by various studies that they are relevant to ranking factors. So ideally, you should use H1 and H2 on every single page that you have. And as you can see, we found out about 4,800 pages with H1 missing and about 10,000 pages with H2 missing. So that's the kind of thing that we check for key SEO elements. Then moving on to other SEO considerations. And the first thing is page load speed. So Google consider loading speed. So the site, the page, the speed that the page loads, the site loads. And as you can see, it's approximately 4 seconds which isn't disastrous, but at the same time, based on the tool that we used, it tells us it's only 39% faster than all the tested website that other people, this tool is pretty famous and pretty popular. So there are a lot of people using this site, this testing tool, and when compared to all those other websites, this website, so bigcatrescue.org, is 39% faster. So that means there are other about 60% of the site, they are faster than Big Cat Rescue. And what does that mean is, the bottom line is really, comparing to other sites, that's fine, but the bottom line is really is you want it to be 2 seconds or less if you can afford it. Obviously, you need to have quite good hosting environment for that to happen, but obviously lower, if you can load it faster, the better. And we also use Google's page speed, and they have two testing methods. One is for desktop, the other one is for mobile. And the way they score is if you are closer to 100, that's better. So in this case, it shows us 81 points for Google speed page speed score for desktop, and then 63 points for Google page speed score for mobile. So it is not bad, but again, we want to take a look at what kind of element that they are scoring high, scoring low. So, but again, what we are only providing an overview here. We're not getting into too details here. So overall, it looks pretty good. Except that the loading time for 4 seconds is a little bit slow. Ideally, it should be 2 seconds or less. Of course, again, if you can afford it. Then moving on to mobile optimization, is the site responsive? Some websites, they create mobile site, but now it's easier to use responsive website design rather than create another mobile site, because it's a double the effort. You have to optimize both. And actually, we use a tool to find out whether this site uses responsive design, and it's called Web Developer Chrome plugin. It also has a Firefox plugin, also Firefox version for the Web Developer plugin. So what you do is basically you install it and then choose resize view responsive layout, and you'll be able to see how it looks like on the mobile platform and also tablet. And as you can see on the screen, I'm sorry for the people who are listening to audio, you cannot really see, but if you check out the video, you will be able to see what I'm talking about here. The site is responsive, so it changes its format according to the size of the browser. So this is a good news. That's the kind of thing that we want to look, that we want to see. And PDF content, yes. So PDF content, the reason we point this out is because there's a way that we can optimize for those PDF files. And again, we're not going to get into detail here. And we have posts that talk about how to optimize for PDF content. So please refer to those posts to find out more about how to optimize. But here we just want to find out whether the site has PDF. If they do, I hope the owner or people from Big Cat Rescue will find out about this post and then actually take a look at the PDF, how to optimize PDF post, and they can optimize the PDF post files. And the last item is data markup. So a schema code, and this is code that's in agreement by Google, Yahoo, Bing, all the large search engines to use this code to communicate with search engine about, to give more context about the site content. And I do have several posts talking about what schema code is and why is it important. So if you refer to those, you'll be able to find out why you want to use schema code. And obviously for Big Cat Rescue, they do not use it. So this is again something to think about. So that's the kind of items that we look at. I know it's packed with a lot of information. So please come and visit the site and browse around digitalradiomarketing.com. We have some resource to explain about each of these items in a deeper, more sort of plain English, so to speak. And of course, if you do not understand them, please let us know and we can help you understand it. And we also have a membership, so if you join us, you'll be able to post a comment and communicate with us to find out, to sort of have that education about what each of this SEO element is all about. In the last section here, as you can see, we have a page that talks about what kind of SEO analysis that we carry out. When you open this, you'll jump to this page here, and as you can see, we explain each item, why we check on that, what is bad about it if it's not done right, what's good about it if it's done right, those kind of things. So it's packed with useful information, and I really do encourage you to check out this page. Then also, it's kind of a disclaimer saying that when we carried out this SEO analysis, obviously these pages, they constantly getting updated. So, by the time that you read this or watch this or hear this podcast, this may not be most up-to-date information. So this is why we want to tell you when we carry out this analysis, and as of that date, this is what we found. Now, lastly, we actually created a post explaining about why we started doing this free SEO analysis, specifically for nonprofits and startups. So if you happen to be working for a nonprofit organization or a startup company, please let us know. And if you think, this service can be beneficial for your organization, please fill up the information in this form. And once you enter your organization here, you'll be added to the list, the voting list, since we only have a limited resources. So we cannot carry out SEO analysis in one go for so many organizations. So we ask people their feedback, which organization we should work on next. So please feel free to submit your organization or organization you think can benefit from this service, and then help us decide which organization should have the SEO analysis next by using this poll to vote. So that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching or listening if you are using podcast. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.